We live in the age of addition. The self-improvement industrial complex tells you that you are a construction project, that if you just add enough habits, enough morning routines, enough knowledge, you will finally be fixed. It's a lie, a profitable one, but a lie nonetheless, because biologically and psychologically, true transformation is not about building. It is about burning. We are trying to add furniture to a house that is already on fire, when we should be letting it burn to the ground. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, a man who spent his life mapping the terrified geography of the human soul, understood this better than anyone. He didn't see healing as becoming a better person. He saw it as becoming a whole person. He called it individuation. But the price of this wholeness is high. Jung famously said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." You see, we think we want to change, but what we really want is relief. We want the reward of a new life without the death of the old one. But nature doesn't work that way. A caterpillar doesn't just sprout wings, it dissolves. It completely digests itself into a chaotic soup before it can be reassembled. Today, we are going to look at that chaos. We're going to look at why your anxiety, your feeling of being lost, and your sudden inability to tolerate your old life are not signs of mental illness. They are the growing pains of your authentic self clawing its way to the surface. We are going to explore the psychology of subtraction. Let's start with the biggest illusion we have, the idea that we are in control of who we are. We grow up believing that our personality is a solid thing, a brick wall. But neuroscience tells us something different. Your personality is mostly just a set of calcified survival strategies. Think about a child. When you were small, you were vulnerable. You needed attachment to survive. So you learned. Maybe you learned that if you were quiet, you were safe. Maybe you learned that if you were funny, you were loved. Maybe you learned that if you achieved high grades, you were valuable. You traded your authenticity for attachment. It wasn't a mistake, it was a biological necessity. It was survival. But here is the trap. The brain loves homeostasis. It loves the familiar, even if the familiar is toxic. This is why change feels like dying. Because to your nervous system, shedding that survival strategy is a threat to your life. There is an old story about a golden statue in Thailand. For centuries, it was covered in thick, ugly clay. Historians believe the monks covered it to protect it from invading armies. It worked. The armies saw a worthless clay mound and ignored it. The gold was safe, but it was hidden. Generations passed. People forgot the gold was there. They started worshiping the clay. This is you. The anxiety you feel today, that friction, is the clay cracking. You are terrified because you think you are breaking. But you are not the clay. You are the gold inside. The crisis you are going through, the depression, the burnout, is simply the moment the hammer hits the clay. You are trying to patch the cracks. You are trying to use positive thinking and affirmations to glue the clay back together. Stop. Let it fall off. But why is it so hard to let it fall? Because of the false self. We spend decades curating an avatar. We build a persona that is socially acceptable, professional, and nice. We edit our speech. We suppress our shadow, the anger, the greed, the jealousy, the weirdness. We shove it all into the basement. But as Jung warned us, the shadow does not cease to exist simply because it is ignored. It grows, it gets denser, and eventually, it knocks down the door. When you try to improve yourself by adding more positive habits to your false self, you are just polishing a mask. You are decorating a prison cell. Ask yourself this, and take a second to really answer. Who would you be if you stopped trying to be good? Who would you be if you stopped performing for an audience that isn't even watching? This is where the concept of sacred destruction comes in. We tend to think of destruction as negative, but in alchemy, the first stage of transformation is nigredo, blackening, decomposition. It is the rotting of the material to prepare it for resurrection. You have to accept the rot. You have to accept that the version of you that seeks everyone's approval must die. This isn't about becoming cold or uncaring. It's about detachment from the outcome of your actions. It's realizing that your worth is not a stock price that fluctuates based on public opinion. This brings us to the mechanism of change. How do we actually do this? Paradoxically, by doing less. There is a concept in philosophy called the backwards law. It states that the more you pursue a positive experience, the more negative the experience becomes. The more you desperately try to be happy, the more anxious you feel about not being happy. The same applies to your identity. The more you try to fix yourself, the more you reinforce the belief that you are broken. True evolution is an act of subtraction. You don't become confident. You subtract the fear of judgment, and confidence is what remains. You don't become happy. You subtract the compulsive need for things to be different than they are. And peace is what remains. It is a process of erosion, like water carving a canyon. The water doesn't try to cut the rock. It just persists. It just flows. It is easy to say these words. It is agonizing to live them. Even Jung, the man who drew the map, had to walk through hell to draw it. In his late 30s, he went through a period that many would call a psychotic break. He heard voices, he saw visions, he felt his mind fracturing. He didn't run from it, he didn't medicate it away, he descended into it. He spent years recording his confrontation with the unconscious in his Red Book. He realized that his professional success, his reputation, his sanity were all just the clay. He had to let the respectable Dr. Jung die so that the wise old man could be born. If you feel like you are going crazy, if you feel like you're falling apart, consider that you might just be waking up. The collapse of your structure is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that your soul has grown too big for the life you previously built. And this is where it touches everything, especially the people we love. When we are trapped in our false self, we don't really love others. We love how they make us feel safe. We use them to prop up our mask. We say, I love you. But what the brain means is, I need you to validate my existence so I don't have to face the void. That isn't love. That is consumption. When you undergo this process of subtraction, when you destroy the need for external validation, something terrifying happens in your relationships. You stop needing people. And that is the only moment you can truly start to love them, because you are no longer extracting safety from them. You are no longer asking them to play a role in your play. You can see them. You can witness them. Real intimacy requires two whole people. If you are half a person looking for another half, you don't find unity, you find codependency, you find a shared delusion. To love fully, you must be willing to stand alone. So, if you are exhausted today, let yourself be exhausted. Stop fighting the current. Stop trying to swim back upstream to the person you used to be. That person is gone. They died the moment you started asking these questions. There is a sacredness in giving up. Not giving up on life, but giving up on the act. Imagine the energy you would have, the sheer, raw power you would reclaim. If you stopped using 80% of your CPU to maintain a simulation of yourself, when the walls finally come down, when the clay falls off, yes, you will feel naked, you will feel cold. But for the first time, you will feel the air on your skin, you will feel the rain, you will feel real. We spend our whole lives terrified of the void, terrified of the silence. But the void is not empty, it is fertile ground. It is the dark soil where the seed breaks open. You are not failing, you are unbecoming. You are not losing yourself, you are remembering. Don't build, destroy, don't add, subtract. Let the fire burn everything that is not you, until only the gold remains. I want to ask you something, and I want you to leave it in the comments below, not for the algorithm, but as a testament to your own process. What is one part of your mask that you are ready to let burn? Write it down, leave it there, and walk away lighter.